What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Nichols' YouTube channel. Today we're doing another Canada Nationals report, and this time around we have Rob Davies and Jackson Davies, who use Rob used the Evital Crobat deck, which we'll see right now, and it's just straight Evital Crobat, no Evital EX, no Darkrai. He played an Absol with Mind Jack because everything has a lot of bench spots now. You have like 5, which is 100 automatic or 120 automatically, and then they have more. You can easily one-shot EX, and you play the Muscle Bands, Verbank, and Crobats to do more damage there. It's just a really good deck, and there's a reason why he made top 4 with it. But if you give me a second, we'll see Jackson's deck. Alright, so just a second ago, we saw Rob's deck, but Jackson actually switched decks, and he decided to play a Primal Kyogre deck. And I asked both of them why they decided to play this deck, because they both get really good answers. And it's just a really consistent Kyogre deck. You play the Trainer Mails, look top 4 cards of your deck, reveal a Trainer card, Mega Turbo to power Kyogre, so that way you can attack turn 2. Dive Ball, so that way you can all your Pokemon are water, so you can Dive Ball for any of the Pokemon there, which is really cool there. But a really consistent deck again. There's a reason why he made top 8, just like Rob made top 4. But hopefully you enjoyed the interview, and thanks for watching. What is up, everybody? Well, welcome back to Team Fish Nichols' YouTube channel. Today we're doing, I guess, a Nationals for Canada. And what are y'all names?
Jackson Davies.
And Rob Davies.
Okay, and I know I showed the list before we did the interview, but just once again, what deck did y'all play?
I played Kyogre.
And I played a Baby Evital Crobat list.
Okay, alright. Now, do you want to talk about y'all Swiss matches?
Go ahead, Jackson. Lead us off.
Well, I won Wisconsin Regionals, so I got 2 round buys.
Okay.
In round 3, I played against Landy Bats. Honestly, he didn't draw that well, and I won because, honestly, I did get pretty lucky with the Kyogre, like, turn 2, pretty much both games.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I face against round 4?
Turn 2 Kyogre was like 100% win rate in our testing against every deck. Like, it's just, turn 2 Kyogre is very deadly to everybody, especially when you get 2 Kyogres and you start the swapping between 2 Kyogres with a Keldeo.
Okay.
It's scary.
Round 4, I played against a Rayquaza deck and lost. It was just straight Rayquaza with eggs, but he actually played Executor.
Okay.
It was pretty deadly for me. Round 5, where did I play against round 5?
I don't know. You can skip it. It's fine.
I
That's
got
fine.
what did I face? Okay, you just start saying your Swiss
Go to
match.
top cut. Go to top cut.
Top cut, I faced Landy Bats in top 8.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. I lost game 1 because I drew dead. Game 2, I won that game, got a really good setup there. And game 3, drew dead again. But there was 3 Landy Bats in top cut.
Mm-hmm.
Easily, my opinion, Rowan is the best Landy Bats player there is in the game. My opinion in the world. So I'm glad I lost to him and not any other Landy Bats.
Fair enough. Go Rowan.
Woo!
I opened up against Night March, which would normally be a very easy matchup, but I could play the matchup with my feet squeaky and still win. Like, that's how I felt with that matchup, right?
Okay.
And I opened up with no supporter and a lone Zubat.
You just cry.
Yeah, how did it go? Oh no, I opened up with a Zubat, top decked an Eevee, put it down, and no supporter.
Mm-hmm.
I survived 3 turns by top decking another Pokemon each time, and eventually lost the game. So I'm a little nervous. And then game 2 and 3 went as it should, and well, traded prizes, took free prizes with Crobats, and it was a pretty easy matchup. I have the memory of a rock, so I can't remember like all matchups, but later down I faced Andrew Estrada.
Okay.
Andrew was playing Landy Bats with Leafeon, and it's if you ever test the deck, it's a very favorable matchup. And game 1 was pretty lopsided. I took him down pretty quickly. He didn't draw that well, and things went pretty bad for him. But Game 2, I pulled off some one-shots on Landerses with drops and lasers,
Okay.
and left them paralyzed again. So both games kind of went the same way. It was pretty uneventful, and not a good matchup for Andrew, right?
Sure.
Hit stream, I think in the 5th round against Toad Shaman. I've never played on stream. Oh my god, wasn't cool because you know every play you doubt yourself. Like, oh, I can just see them in the chat going, "What an idiot! Why did we do that?"
That's true. Yeah.
Couple small misplays, but nothing huge. And took first game to time and won just before time. As sad as that sounds, right? Yeah, it wasn't that bad of a matchup. The crazy ending to my let me just double check something. I did write some rounds down in here, but I hit my last round in Swiss and it was not a good matchup. I knew it. I whispered to a couple people, do you know what he's playing? Do you know what he's playing? And he was playing Manetric Toad, Mega Manetric Toad. If you ever test my deck, you would know that's not a very good matchup, right?
That's true.
It's not unbeatable. It's not that terrible, but it's very favorable for him. So the gentleman that I was playing was someone that I did know, and his friends knew me very well. So he was saying, like, so you're 8 points away from your Worlds invite, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm not going to be the one to knock you out, bro. And he literally circled the win column for me. And I was like, do you want to play anyway? So game 1 we played, and I smashed him. Squeaky smashed him hard. Game 2, like, we switched shoes. He smashed me, just like destroyed me. And then I said, I don't even want to play game 3, right? I don't. So went on from that. Almost dropped a tier there because he wouldn't play the game. Like, he wouldn't play it out, right? He didn't want to be the guy to eliminate me. So, you know, props out to him, and thank him very much. At the end of the event, I did go and give him my boxes. So
Okay, it's very nice.
as a thing, he tried to stop it. But you know, I insisted. So
I finally remembered my last 2 rounds.
bring it.
I played against Don Fan Wailord in round 5.
Okay.
Honestly, Don Fan's usually a good matchup, but jeez, he played so many AZs and max potions. I got the cycle off, but it took like 40 minutes for the first game because every turn he got that max potion.
Oh, mid Swiss for me, I did hit a quad Manetric, which was unfortunate, and I tied him. Did tie him, so he took game 1, and it was actually pretty close. I needed a couple slip fleeps to go my way, and game 2 he junipered a Mega Manetric away, and found out that 2 were prized, and I think it was a 4-3 line. So I swept that game pretty good, and then time was called and we couldn't do a 3rd game. So took the tie and ran away from that table.
That's true.
Round 6 I tied. Guaranteed cut.
Oh, I did play against Anil. Anil lost in top 4. He was playing the Landy, Raichu, Garbodor, Mewtwo, the one that you would be familiar with from US Nets last year.
Yeah, true.
I couldn't beat him. I drew as good as I could possibly draw, and I still couldn't beat him. You take the bats away from my deck, and I'm just oblivion winging, right? That's it. And it wasn't cool. So he beat me pretty bad, and so when the top cut came up, I was very happy to see I didn't get paired up with him, and pretty excited about that. And I was pretty excited about the matchups. I have a very good matchup versus Raichu. It might not sound good, but I have a pretty good matchup versus it. And I was hoping to catch one of them round 1, but I caught a Toad Bats. It's a newer player, Jason Greenberg.
Okay.
Very good. He's a very good player, up and comer. Made a couple early mistakes that let me control the game, basically, and I got ahead in prizes and took the game. Game 2, he played it better but didn't draw as well. And I snuck that game out. So 2 straight games and moved on to top 4. Where disaster hits, Squeaky.
I heard about this.
Yeah, so I get Matthew Koo. Matthew Koo is the best player I know, Squeaky. Like, the best player I've ever played with and against, and he is the best player I know. And that's not going for me. But I have a wicked record versus him. I really do, especially in major events. And he has a terrible record on stream, so I got that going for me, right?
Yeah.
I think at the time, I don't think he's ever won on stream at that point, before the tournament started, and then he won his first game on stream, right? And so game 1, I make a couple misplays where I think I could have won the game. There was a moment late in the game that I could have actually knocked out the active Raichu and the Pikachu on the bench in the same turn, which would have left him with no attackers, except Milk Tank, which I didn't even know he had at the time. But that wasn't enough to knock me out, so I wasn't too worried. If I did that, I think I would have took game 1. But he took a close game 1. Game 2 went more in my favor. He still was in the game to the end, but I took game 2, and game 3 chose to go first. Started with God Hand, End, and Top Deck for, you'd have to watch the stream, but I would say 4 turns, maybe 4 turns.
Yeah.
And by that time, I was down too many prizes to catch up. I tried. I end them to 2 at one point, with the energy to knock out the active, which would have left him with no attackers. He had a Raichu with 1 energy. So I end him in hopes that he couldn't get the energy, right? Yeah, he just, if you watched any of the streams, he got whatever he wanted whenever he wanted. Against Kieran, did you hear the one about against Kieran where he ended himself to 2, got the grass energy and the Virizion? It was the same thing over and over. It was, that was drawing so hot until the finals, obviously. But
yeah,
he was a very good player drawing hot, and that's scary.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, still top 4, top 8's very great. So congratulations.
Thanks, man. Much appreciated.
All right. So I guess the first question is, why did y'all decide to pick y'all certain decks?
I picked Kyogre because I was expecting a lot of Yveltal and Lanny Bats, and I figured that Kyogre is a pretty good matchup against those 2. So yeah.
We felt like it was a good pick for him.
And plus, I've always played Toad, but with the ban of Trump, I hadn't really tested with the decks that don't need it that much. I hadn't tested with Bats or Garbodor. So I kind of just fell into my secondary deck Kyogre since I had a bit of testing with that, and that's basically why I played it.
And he wouldn't play my way at all. He didn't believe in it. He didn't. I did get some other players to play it, so it was represented at the tournament. We had actually 4 players in total playing it.
Okay.
And they all did well too. Calvin just whiffed cut at 5-2. He was playing it. Another friend of mine, Brendan, he actually did a very noble thing and scooped to Andrew after beating him. And he would have made cut had he not scooped. So it would have been 2 of our decks in cut. My senior went 3-0-3.
Okay. I got 9.
And got 9th place. So, it was all, everyone was close, but no cigar. And the same with me. I have a very, very good matchup versus Metal. Maybe not Chase, but against Metal, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like if I made it to the finals, I had a decent chance. Especially if it wasn't Chase piloting the Metal. But I think Chase could have piloted anything and still won. Like, that guy's too good, man. Yeah. Too good. I give that guy all the credit. We seen him the next morning after Top Cut for breakfast, and we had breakfast with him. And I gotta say, man, that guy's a gentleman, man. He's so soft-spoken. He's just a gentleman. Props to that guy. Good man.
Yeah. So okay. So I guess the question is, after playing this tournament, would y'all make any changes to your list, or would you keep them the same?
I don't know what I would take out, but I would probably want a Sacred Ash in my
Mhm.
deck. I found myself with my starting hand having a Juniper, some other cards, and like two Primal Kyogres, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
First, I want to do a quick shout out to Adam Arsenal from Skyfox because he's the one that gave us the idea to play this deck. Just want to make sure that I don't forget that he was the brains behind that operation. And if I was to make a change, I would take Leafeon out. I would take Leafeon out, and I would put a single Milk Tank in as a single energy attacker because I got the stage 2s up, right?
Yeah.
Although he's got 2 retreat, and it's a pain in the ass, I'm not going to lie, if you start with him, it could be hell. But he's a good late game attacker that can do some big damage, and I would definitely put him in, no doubt. And then I got a spot to work with as well, right? I could take one more spot to do whatever I want. So that would be definite changes.
Okay.
And if I was to recommend a deck for anyone wondering out there for US Nats, this
Kyogre.
deck has decent matchups around the board. You do not auto-lose to anything. It has a good matchup versus Groudon, walks through trees, walks through Night March, walks through Landy Bats, struggles with the Primals. Oh, sorry, not really Groudon, but
Kyogre.
Kyogre is very, very difficult. With or without Leafeon, it's still bad.
True.
I'm not sure if he's really worth it. Toad, it's not that bad. You're hitting for the same amount of damage, except he gets to use lasers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they waste all, if you weather the storm and you're still in good shape, you can win that matchup.
Okay.
Baby, no.
Yeah, just Baby Evital, nothing else.
Absol is pretty clutch too, but
Uh-huh.
there you go. Milk Tank and a second Absol.
Would you ever decide to play the other Absol that moves 30 damage?
No.
No?
I would rather just play an AZ to lift up a Crobat and place another 30, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
I was thinking of playing an Absol on my Kyogre.
That would be smart.
Just because you do 150, 30, and instead of trying to Lysander, just drop that down, knockout.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I agree. I agree with that.
So I got a question for you, Jackson. What would you say is your deck's worst matchup?
Apparently, Landy Bats.
I'd probably have to say Rayquaza with grass, like Rayquaza and Virizion. That's probably my worst matchup. I don't know, it's tied with Night March.
Mm-hmm.
Night March was tough for him, yeah.
Yeah, except I went into the 2K tournament. I beat Night March and lost to Toad Bats.
So he gets eliminated from top 8 by Landy Bats, which is an auto win, right? Basically an auto win.
True.
And he goes into the 1K tournament immediately after and beats Night March and beats Rayquaza. Sometimes life just isn't fair, right? It was just wrong. And he beat Night March by keeping him asleep with Kyogre's first attack. Like 3 turns in a row.
I
Right?
had a Primal in my hand for about 3 turns, but I couldn't do anything as Night Marchers were one-shotting me, so I kept staying in the active sleep for 3 turns.
And then he bubbled the 1K tournament, so
9th place, top 8 box.
I didn't enter. I was pretty drained, but I was still pretty upset over the loss too. Yeah, as much as it's like exciting to make it to top 4, you don't get those opportunities that often, right? Like you getting cut, you want to make the best of them, and I don't think I made the best of it. That was the thing, right? So you get a little hard on yourself. So that's where I was.
I was talking with one of my friends, and I was like, you know what? I either want to get first or do really bad. And they're like, why? I'm like, well, if you get second, you just got second at a tournament you'll probably never had a chance to get second again at. So, I don't know.
I feel the same way. Like, I was so heartbreaking over top 4, but if someone told me, I'll give you top 4 at the beginning of the tournament, I probably would take it. I'd get my invite and, but I was so upset. I'm glad it was against Matthew Koo because there's not a person I respect more than that man, but I still wanted to send him back to China crying. I did. I'm sorry, Matthew, but that was my goal. I actually called out to everyone there, like, I'm doing this for all the students in China, right?
Okay. So, if y'all were going to go to U.S. Nationals the next weekend, what deck would you play? And I think we know what deck you played, Rob. But
I do. I believe in it. Like, honestly, it looks like nothing on paper. Until you start dropping bats and laser banking people, you're like, oh my God. And they got to take 6 prizes? Oh my God. I might put back, the original list had Iris in it for the longest time.
Okay.
I might put it back in. Nobody sees it coming. Squeaky, they're safe. He can Oblivion Wing for 50 tops. And then all of a sudden, 1 energy, I'm doing 100, right? Because they got to take single prizes. That's 5 prizes. So I can do an extra 50 with Iris. It's insane. It's insane. You?
Honestly, I would probably play Rayquaza.
Okay. Which version?
I don't know, probably Rayquaza Raichu, just because it gives you an advantage against Yveltal.
So the straight up with the Mega Turbos.
Yeah, I only say that because I feel like Landy Bats will be popular, and I feel like people are then going to counter it with Kyogre. Rayquaza's got really good matchups against both of them, so.
Okay matchups. I think Landy Bats has a good matchup versus... You don't... Because they put the Focus Sash in, and you know, Halucha can just sit up there and attack twice with Focus Sash. You know all about that card, right?
just a little bit. Yeah?
Yeah, but like Halucha can't attack Raichu, and Raichu basically
fair
one-shots
enough.
Halucha.
It's definitely a weird matchup.
It is.
Yeah.
Depending on the builds, I think, right?
Okay. So, both of you are going to Worlds currently, which is very
We are.
nice. So, I guess the question is, I know last year and the year before at U.S. Nationals, we saw Pyro do good at Nationals, and then not so good at Worlds. We saw Gothita do good at Nationals and not so good at Worlds. Do you think the trend will continue, or do you think...
No.
No?
I think because it happened twice in a row, it'll break it. But because I'm saying that, that might go back and go the other way. I'm not sure. But I think whatever's big at Nats, your Nats this year, even if it gets overhyped, I think it still has a strong showing because of the last 2 years.
Okay.
When you go into Worlds, you're always thinking, what is everyone predicting everyone's going to play? Because they're going to play whatever counters those things, and then you need to counter what they counter. It gets insane, right?
True.
Right? And now I just think that it's going to work differently because there's been a pattern, and you have to break the pattern. It won't stay. It won't stay. Whatever the big hype is at US Nats, which I'm so excited to watch, I think that sticks this time. I think that Baby White Vettel is going to be the hype. The hype.
Hopefully it'll be. All right.
And I think Kyogre's going to rip that.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm very excited, Squeaky, and I wish you the best of luck like I do. I hope that big names like yourself all hit the top tables. It'd be awesome to see.
That would be awesome. It'd be my first Nats cut if I can do it. But,
You haven't?
No, I've never cut. I've always 6'3" and bubbled, so.
Wow.
Bubble life right now. But do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
I want to give a shout out to Rowan, because that guy went on in the semifinals and somehow beat an Yveltal Toadgar Boater.
Okay.
And wait, who else do I want to? And Lucas for taking out the #1 seed. Played Landy Bats, beat Rayquaza. This guy dominated everybody. Nobody even stood a chance.
Is that it, my man?
Yeah.
Matthew Koo for winning like a gentleman. Team Bank, Team Lucario, my 2 favorite teams on the planet, no doubt. I mean, Curtis Lyam, because he's always there for me. Honestly, the guy's he's a gentleman. William Chan for scooping to me in the last round of Swiss forever. I got your back, pal. You know what I mean? If I ever can repay that favor, you know that I got you, man. And I guess that would be it, Squeaky. Obviously, to you again, because you're such a champ at this. And I don't know, man. You just do so many interviews. I don't know how you do it, but I watch every single one of them, right? I'm excited to see my Canadian guys on here. But Adam Arsenal is my #1 shout out for the idea. Kevin Sheenan for playing the deck and trusting it. Brendan Fitzpatrick for trusting it. Kelvin, I can't even say his last name, even though he's my pal. Those guys are champs for trusting the deck choices that I make, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another shout out to Raymond Long for winning nationals.
Way to go, Raymond.
First year playing competitively, won. Just as simple as that.
And a shout out to the winner of US Nats.
Whoever you are.
No. Squeaky!
No.
Yes.
There's no
Out of nowhere. My God. I'm just saying. I could see it happening. You have so much access and so much knowledge about this game. You're a step ahead of everyone. If there's a time to show it, it's now, my friend.
That's
like halfway through the tournament, he's gonna text you, Rob, you jinxed me. I'm 0-5.
Kevin Baxter might be one of the best deck builders in the game right now. I think. Like he's done some genius things in the past. I don't know what you've involved in that, but he's obviously taking credit because I consider him like top as top as it goes for deck building, and you got him on your side, man.
Yeah, hopefully me and Kevin can make something together and get something working out. But
I wish you guys the best, man. I would love to see the two of you up there.
Alrighty. Well, thank y'all both for doing this interview, and I can't wait to meet you at Worlds.
Thanks, man. You have a great day.
Alrighty, take care.
Bye.
Bye.